Joining me here now is Michael Bociurkiw, Global Affairs Analyst and Senior Fellow at the Atlantic Council. You've just arrived once again in Kyiv. You've been coming here since 2014. Michael, are we here now because the world didn't do enough early enough?
Good to be with you, and you summed it up perfectly, by the way. Absolutely. In 2014, after the illegal occupation of Crimea, had then President Obama followed the advice he was given, and that is to provide lethal weaponry to Ukraine instead of sanctions and effective sanctions, we wouldn't be in this position today. We're now going 8+ years. Even before the full-scale invasion happened in February, we're up to around 14,000 deaths in eastern Ukraine. Now, many times more that. So, you know, you're right. You look at the faces of people here, and a lot of them I've spoken to say it doesn't look like there's any end in sight. So something has to change there.
We're going to be hearing about this some more in the news hour in just a few minutes. But China has today laid out its own plans for peace. What do you make of that plan? Can China be an unbiased mediator, given its relationship with Russia?
I don't think so. You know, we have to go back to the period of the pandemic when the Chinese and the Russians were working in lockstep to inoculate themselves against Western sanctions. The Chinese were really helping Russia with that. The other thing is, I think the Chinese speak out of two sides of their mouths. On the one hand, they're talking about peace, about being a neutral party here. But on the other hand, I wouldn't be surprised if they're already providing lethal weaponry through allies such as North Korea. That's a very, very likely possibility. And quickly, we're probably going to be hearing more from the Americans, from their intelligence, about what the Chinese are doing.
OK, so how should the world answer China's call then? How should it say thanks but no thanks?
Well, they should do what they didn't do with the Russians, and that is to grow the spine and stand up to them. The West is way behind in terms of also inoculating themselves against China economically. Things like, you know, manufacturing of semiconductors in the United States, redoing supply chains to lessen that dependence on China as the West did on Russia. But that will take some time.
Michael, always good to talk to you. Many thanks indeed for being with us and going back to